Let me tell you something as I start my day. Last Saturday, I was in the church for the women's dinner, and it was such an amazing and beautiful moment. Listen, I'll always say, if you as a woman, you have opportunity of being in the room with other amazing, gifted, talented, wise women, full of wisdom, and they are willing to share, be there. Be there. Even if it means paying for it, especially when it is free, you don't have any excuse. Prior to that moment, I was actually feeling really down and I just didn't want to go out. I just didn't want to do anything. But I was grateful to God at the end of the day that I went to that meeting. So the room was so beautiful, full of, inspiring women, like I said, full of wisdom, lots of drinks and lots of food. For those of you who know me, I am a foodie, so I love food. So that evening, we actually played a game called the Chinese Whisper. So, for those of you who don't know the Chinese Whisper, it's actually a game where somebody whispers something into the ear of another person, or you just make a gesture, and it goes around till you get to the last person. And usually, before you get to the last person, is completely different from what was originally said or done, and everybody just busts into laughter, and it is so interesting. Well, in the middle of that game, something there was just so many things. As deep as it was, there was so many wisdom, so many things to learn from it. Very powerful. I learned that your original words that you've spoken will be misinterpreted. It will not be delivered accurately just as you've given it out, or just as you've said it originally. It will be misinterpreted. But again, it doesn't stop you from being who you are. You will be you will be misunderstood. Your words will be taken for something else, even if that's not your intention. But we are different. Maybe people don't do it intentionally. Maybe people are just like that. You need to I just don't know how to say it, but your words will be misinterpreted, you will be misjudged, you'll be misunderstood, and that's okay. It doesn't stop you from being who you are and who you want to be. It doesn't stop your originality, your authenticity. But there was one thing again that I learned is the spirit of discernment. You need to have the spirit of discernment to be able to discern what the intentions were, what is being said, what the intentions truly are. You need to know, you need to have the spirit of discernment. You need to be able to discern things. You need to be able to discern, you know what is and what is not. And if you want to know the actual thing that is being said, you need to go to the source. The source, the person who has, you know who originally said that word or did that thing, whatever it is that you're having doubts about. Instead of you to just end up saying what is not, you need to be able to go to the source, go to the person, go to God. And like I said, the spirit of discernment is very, 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 very important. And you need to protect your identity. You need to learn to speak clearly in the way people will understand, especially if you're the type of person who is not really good at communicating. And you need to also know that people's whisper does not define who you are. And you don't need to really shrink just because you don't want to be misunderstood. Like, people will misunderstand you still. You just need to be who you are. And I'm really excited that I'm actually starting my video in this way because I was someone who I was so concerned about what will people say, about how I didn't want to be misunderstood or misjudged. Hello, that's life. It's actually part of existence, part of existing, and you just can't change people, but rather you can change you. That's why you need to be in a place where you don't have to allow people to whisper to define you. See you on my next video, and Have a beautiful week.